Good afternoon, Floss Tube friends. This is Lisa, Lady Huzzah on Instagram, Lady Huzzah Presents on Floss Tube. I am so excited to be here with you today. I have so much to show you. When I was with you the last time, I was at Liberty Hill Needleworks in Williamsburg, Virginia, and did a video with the owner, Susan McKenzie. I have to thank everyone for how well received that video was. Everyone loved to hear what Susan had to share about her needlework journey and her shop, and we had a lovely tour of the shop. So if you haven't seen that video yet, go back and check out Lady Huzzah Presents video number 30. So that was great. However, it's been since May since I was here with you on my own, and since then I have done a lot of stitching. I am calling this video Palette Cleansers, BAPs, and an All-American Celebration. I have some wonderful things to share with you today in my giveaways and wonderful patriotic projects that I have been stitching. So anyway, here we go. Without further ado, I will talk to you about how busy this summer has been, some retreats I've been on, retreats I am planning to go on, some of my whips, finishes, stitchy kindness, and haul. So there's a lot to do, so let's get started. Well, it has been a busy summer, and I have to say, enjoying our 250th birthday as a country, living here in Williamsburg has been wonderful. There have been so many events and festivities that Williamsburg has really gone all out to celebrate our nation with the community and visitors from all over. I have to say that on Father's Day, I was honored, so honored to attend the opening of the America's Tapestry exhibit at the Muscarelli Museum on the campus of William and Mary. Those of you that have been with me over my floss tube journey have heard that I have been stitching on the Virginia tapestry as well as a tiny bit on the Delaware tapestry. So the idea behind these tapestries were that there was 13 tapestries created depicting lesser known people in our movement for our freedom, and not the usual players. So you weren't finding George Washington, you weren't finding Paul Revere, you weren't finding Betsy Ross, you were finding lesser known players on these tapestries. And EGAs, stitch groups, and interested stitchers from all over these 13 states have gotten together and created huge, huge tapestries. So this was in the book from the Muscarelli Museum, 13 Colonies, 13 Stories, One Nation. And this book was part of their museum schedule for the spring. And the project for Virginia was headed up by Catherine Theron, who is a noted needlework designer and teacher that has been teaching for many, many years. And so Catherine was brave enough to take on this project for Williamsburg, and it was really fabulous. So the Virginia tapestry featured a gentleman, here he is, named Aberdeen, who was an enslaved man, and he agreed to help in a lead mine where they would make bullets for the Patriots in exchange for his freedom. So what I mean is these tapestries featured unsung heroes that were really pertinent in our nation's quest for freedom. So that was the Virginia tapestry, and it was a joy to stitch on. I worked on grass mostly, but there's tons of grass here. The tapestry was just presented as an outline drawing on a big piece of ground cloth, and then all of the designers that, or just people, they weren't all designers, I don't think, but the people that decided to take the task of getting this piece stitched decided on what stitches would be used, what threads would be used, and it was countless volunteers to stitch and countless hours of stitching. Now this America's Tapestry, you can go online and look up americastapestry.com and check it out. You can also see the other tapestries from the other 12 states, colonies at the time, and they will be on display. They are on display here at the Muscarelli Museum on the campus of William and Mary until September. After that, it will be moving on to other states, and then I think it will be in Pennsylvania at the end until its final display place will be determined. So it was really great to work on it. Here's a picture of what the New Hampshire tapestry was to look like. But these things are huge, and photos of them just don't do it justice. I wanted to do a video for all of you of the tapestries, and I very well might go back. Hopefully it'll be quiet that day and I can take a video at the Muscarelli Museum. The gentleman that came up with this idea said it's fine to put it out on social media. There's no copyright, ramifications or anything. So I'm hoping to get over there and take a video that I can share with all of you. But it was such an honor. And on Father's Day, they had the opening of this exhibit. There was a Stitcher showcase, a panel discussion, and a very, very nice reception. It was a lovely, lovely day on Father's Day to have this opening. So like I said, it will be here in Williamsburg until September. And then after that, it will be traveling to other states for you to see. If you have the opportunity to see America's Tapestry, please, please take advantage of it. It's just incredible. So it's very well worthwhile to see. So that was Father's Day weekend. Then we come up on our big 250th celebration weekend. So for that, Williamsburg started off the weekend with a lovely concert. It was called America's Great Dance Party, and it was on the Palace Green down in Colonial Williamsburg, and there was a very popular local band called Good Shot Judy that plays big band music, and they did a lovely free concert. It was free to everyone. So my husband and I took our lawn chairs and got our spot on the Palace Green and had a nice picnic dinner with some Prosecco to kick off our 4th of July weekend. It was hot, but you know what? We just dealt with it. So anyway, then on Friday, we decided to head down to Williamsburg again and just to walk around and check things out and watch them set up for the big celebration on Saturday. I don't know why my camera keeps getting lighter and darker. Not quite sure why that's happening, but we'll just roll with it. So we went on Friday, and they were having a colonial auction. Now, for those of you that have visited Williamsburg before, they do these colonial auctions periodically, and it's really a lot of fun. So they do it just like an old-time auction, and you don't even have to get a number. You just raise your hand and just call out the amount that you're willing to pay as the auction increases. And it's just a lot of fun. And they're done by, costumed interpreters. And they're usually items that are no longer available in the Williamsburg stores or pieces of memorabilia from Colonial Williamsburg. I know that one of the things auctioned this year or this time was a flag that had flown over the governor's palace for quite some time, and they got the winner got the flag and a book about Colonial Williamsburg, and it was really nice. They always auction a bell that was used as the auctioneer's bell from every time they do an auction, and that is engraved with the date of the auction, and it goes for a variety of prices. I've seen it go for a few $100s to like $2,500. Well, on the day before our nation's Independence Day, it went for $7,100. $100. And all of this money benefits the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation, which was really great. So we were in Colonial Williamsburg for a number of hours on Friday, and a very popular place in the Colonial area is just outside. There's a shopping area called Merchant Square, and there is an iconic lunch place there. It's called the Cheese Shop, and they have a wine store down below, and you can get sandwiches and snacks and cheese platters and all those good things at the Cheese Shop. So my husband and I went over to the Cheese Shop to share some wine and cheese, and we contacted friends of ours who enjoys the Cheese Shop as well, and they came over. Well, we were there for several hours, but it was really a lot of fun. So then we come up on Saturday, the day of our nation's independence. They were expecting upwards of 75,000 to 100,000 people in Colonial Williamsburg that day. Some locals were shying away because they weren't quite sure whether they wanted to deal with all those crowds. I myself was not willing to allow an opportunity like this to go by. That's historic. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I had really been looking forward to. So what we decided to do was to just deal with it. We knew it would be crowded. We knew it would be hot. So we just knew that those were two things we couldn't complain about. So we had a plan. We went to the parking garage at 7:30 in the morning on July 4th. We had 2 coolers in the car, one with beverages, adult beverages and otherwise. We had a cooler with food. We had extra clothes. We had a bag filled with ice that we put washcloths in so we could cool down. And we also had those little spray water things with fans. So we were ready. And we figured by parking in the parking garage, if it started to rain, we could go back there for some shelter for a while. If it was too hot, we could go to our car and put the AC on for a bit and cool down. Well, all of that worked out perfectly. And so we were really set. And then the next key thing to do was to place our chair on the Palace Green to get our spot for the fireworks at nighttime. Well, when we arrived with our chairs at about 7:30, 7:45 in the morning, I would say half of the Palace Green was already filled with chairs. It seems to be a Williamsburg thing. Whenever there's a big festival or celebration, like illumination at Christmas time, people put their chairs out sometimes the night before. And you're allowed to leave chairs, but you're not allowed to leave stuff. So you can't leave coolers or tote bags of things. I guess that's a security thing, but you're allowed to place your chairs. So, and nobody really seems to bother them, which is really great. So we placed our chairs in the morning, and then we were set for the day. So our next thing that we did, the next order of business, was to go down to the Capitol where Thomas Jefferson was going to be reading the Declaration of Independence. Well, that was mobbed, but we had a good spot because we were there early and just prepared to wait. And it really set the tone for the day, and it was great. So there was so many people in various variations of patriotic outfits, which was really fun. I did post some things on my Facebook, again, sharing some of the pictures of the flavor of the day. So we just had a wonderful day. When we got really hot, we went over to the new archaeology center that opened a few months back, and that was fascinating. And I have to say, it was almost cold in there. So we just paced ourselves throughout the day and had a lovely, lovely day. When it was time in the evening for the fireworks, there was a fireworks and drone show, and the whole thing was presented on PBS at the same time. So I think it's still on PBS. So I want to go back and see how their presentation looks as opposed to what we saw. There was a whole stage of entertainment over near the courthouse, and then big screen TVs, big screens on the Palace Green also, So those sitting there waiting for the fireworks could also see what was going on the stage show. I have to say, Colonial Williamsburg did a fantastic job with having cooling tents, free water stations, lots of food trucks. It was just perfect. It was a wonderful, wonderful celebration, and I'm really glad that we chose to attend. That being said, nothing felt so good as that cold shower when we got home at night. So happy 250th birthday, everyone. And I'd love to hear in the comments maybe how you celebrated. We just had a lovely, lovely time. And later on in the year, Williamsburg is celebrating their 100th anniversary as Colonial Williamsburg, as our colonial city here. So, as their 100th anniversary of Colonial Williamsburg, and I believe their recreation, I think that's what they're doing. I could be wrong. I might have to get back to you, but they're celebrating a 100th anniversary later on in the year. All right. So I would also like to mention to you, that was our 4th of July, and our summer has continued to be full of all kinds of activities. I will say that I have enjoyed meeting a lot of you. Since Williamsburg is a destination, I have enjoyed meeting a lot of you as you have come into the shop at Liberty Hill Needleworks. I love when you introduce yourself. It just really means a whole lot to me to be able to put a face to my viewers and subscribers and those who have been following me on my floss tube journey. I really, really appreciate meeting you, and it just warms my heart to just have some time to chit chat with you. So never hesitate. If you see me out in the wild, never hesitate to introduce yourself. I've met a lot of you this summer because a lot of people have been coming to visit the historic triangle, which is Williamsburg, Yorktown, and Jamestown. And it's really nice that Liberty Hill has also become somewhat of a destination shop, that when stitchers come into town, they have to stop there. So it's great. It's well worth your visit. There is a new floss tuber that was new to me that I met at Liberty Hill, and it is Carolina Threadheads. It's two friends that present their floss tube together. They have a few of them out, and I met a lovely lady named Sabra, and you might want to check out their floss tube, Carolina Threadheads. They were lovely and do a really nice presentation of their stitching. Well, without further ado, I will announce the winners of my giveaways. There's a lot, because there is not only the giveaways from my last floss tube, but from the one that I did with Susan at the shop. So I have several to give away. Also, I will also have some giveaways later that will reflect my Star Spangled celebration here today with you. Okay, the first one, the response word in the comments was pink, and this was a bowl made by a friend of mine that I met at the Hobby House retreat in May, and she was kind enough to donate 2 of these fabric bowls. They are reversible, so you can keep it like this on the pink side, or you can turn it in and have it on this side. But they're really lovely just to put little things in, whether you want to put your little stitching supplies in, you want to use it for orts, you want to use it for candy, whatever you might need during your stitching journey and near your stitchy things. So this one goes to Jane Freeman, 9695. Jane, please email me. I will have my email in the show notes. So email me with your address. You must be over 18. I go over all that with the giveaway parameters when I do a giveaway, but I need to obtain your address. So Jane Freeman, 9695. You have won this pink bowl. It's really darling. Okay, the next one was this gold bowl, and this has a little beaded edge on it, and again, it's just adorable. This is on the golden side of the fabric, and again, it can, reverse to the pink side. And this bowl goes to Vicky Reed 4833. Vicky, please email me and I will get this bowl sent out to you. So generous that these were donated to me to share with all of you. Okay, the next giveaway was, the keyword was Liberty. And these were sent to me by Tina Waltman of Early Workings. Now, she's the one that did the exclusive of Martha Tucker for Liberty Hill Needleworks. And these are new designs from Tina. She has an Etsy shop. And she donated these to me to share with you. So this was Liberty and Samuel Cutter. And these were won by Kathy Markham-DM2MP. Kathy, email me and I will get these to you. Kathy Markham, DM2MP. The next set of charts was Old Red Brick Inn and Poppy Hopkins. These were again donated by Tina Waltman, and these go to Sheena Rang 3192. Again, Sheena, email me and I will get these to you. Again, Sheena Rang 3192. All right. So the next set of giveaways I am awarding to the winners are the ones that were shared by Susan and Darlinda from the shop. This first one is a project bag. Now, Darlinda works at the shop a couple times a month, and she makes these beautiful, beautiful project bags. Darlinda's work is really exquisite. She is a wonderful sewer, and she pays great attention to detail when she is making these bags. Like here, where this ship is, it matches up with down below. So when you see it as the ship. You know, it's not like cut in half. And here there's a house. The house presents as one complete house. And over here, the governor's palace. The same thing. Darlinda uses really quality fabrics. She has lovely linings. The lining in this bag looks like a map. And she does have EmAlenas Designs, and I will put her email and phone number in my show notes. She said reach out to her by either method if you would like to order a bag from her, and you can discuss, you know, what type of bag you would like. She might send you photos of fabric she has, but Darlinda makes beautiful bags, and she was kind enough to offer one as a giveaway when I did my video with Susan at Liberty Hill. So the winner of the project bag is Leah Noonan 579. Leah, please email me and I will get your bag out to you to fill with all of your stitchy goodness. All right, the next prize, Susan really had a lot of prizes that day, which was great, is a set of Liberty Hill corner gauge and horn book. And these are, she has done for the shop. I don't really want to take this out, but it has the Liberty Hill logo, Liberty Hill information on the back. And then here is a picture of the Governor's Palace in Williamsburg. And then here's a little horn book palette. And again, the Liberty Hill logo on the back, and it says Stitching Happiness in Williamsburg. This set of the corner gauges goes to Angela Seibert, 3719. Angela Seibert, 3719. You won these gauges. Please email me. But wait, there is more. We have, let's see here. We have some pins from Jersey Girl Stitch Co. And these pins are exclusive to Liberty Hill right now. And they have on it a 2026 little charm. And these are great to use for your patriotic stitching. This goes to Sherry Mittley 9388. Sherry Mittally, Mittally 9388. Again, email me, Sherry. All right, 2 more things. This chart is exclusive to Liberty Hill right now. This was from the Beth Twist retreat. This is a little Colonial Rebels needle roll. And this goes to Carla Dietrich, 6638. Just like the others, Carla, please email me and I will get this out to you. This is really a fun needle roll. It has in here the Boston Tea Party. It has people passing, some women passing letters during the Revolution as help with, letting soldiers know where certain people were, and nobody really suspected the ladies of having any involvement with it. Here's Paul Revere. Here's Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. This was like the second project that Beth taught at her retreat here in May, which was fabulous. And then the last giveaway from Liberty Hill was our exclusive Sea to Shining Sea band sampler that was part of the class that Beth Twist taught here. And this goes to Lydia Cosgrove, 4347. Lydia Cosgrove, 4347. So once I see your email, I will make sure that I get these prizes out to you. Thank you so much for all of you who have left comments. Again, my video with Susan was so well received. Everyone really enjoyed it. And I know that you should stay tuned because she wants to film another one in the not so distant future. And she is also going to have some more exclusives for the shop that she would like to present to you. So stay tuned for those things. All right. Well, I guess I will get on with some of my finishes that I have had lately. And then after that, I will talk to you about some of the retreats that I have been on and some of my whips. All right. I have had a number of finishes. I called this palette cleansers, BAPs, and All-American Celebration for a reason. I've heard recently, which I think is quite clever, people call small projects that they do kind of in between big projects or while they're working on big projects, they call them palette cleansers. It's just something a little bit different to do in the meantime while you're putting your attentions on those big projects. So I have been doing actually quite a bit of the little palette cleansers. It's time for me to get down to the main meal. But one thing I have been doing, and this was also part of my whip go this year, was I have been working some on my woolly tree. Now, those of you who have been with me know that I absolutely love the designs that Trish Harriman from Attic Heirlooms puts out. She is such a talented designer, wool worker. There's a Facebook group called Stitch Along with Attic Heirlooms, and she has designs on there that run a month that are free for that month. And it's really a very active Facebook group, and it's a lot of fun. Trish is so talented, and we have really developed quite a nice friendship over the years. Someday we will get to meet. We can make that happen. But Trish is wonderful, and I will share with you some of the things that I have done. She had designed this woolly tree. It was actually a year-long project a couple years ago. So you made the Christmas tree out of wool, and then each month you received kits for different ornaments. These are 2 of them here. They stopped flying around here. These are 2 of them here. Let's see. Really cute. And there was also, well, pardon the reach, I've got so much stuff around me that I'm afraid I'm going to drop something. There was also a package, and there's another package to do. Here's a whole garland that at Christmas time, I drape it all around that tree. And then there's various other ornaments. So I got behind on doing my ornaments, and I decided that this year I was going to, focus on some of my ornaments. So I just finished these. It was these 2 ornaments. And in these little kits, Trish gives you everything you need except the thread. She gives you the interfacing, not the interfacing. She gives you the iron-on. She gives you the beads, the embellishments, all the different wool. Her directions are just perfect. And so these 2 ornaments I can now add to my woolly tree. Really cute. So I got those completed, and her things just work up so quickly, and they are just adorable. She did have at the time that we started this tree, she did have a thread pack of Valdani spools available, and those have lasted me for not only her projects, but a lot of other projects. So the other one that I just completed was this one, and this is the star for the tree topper. So I did this, and then here it is. So cute. So I have prepped some of the other things for the tree, and they will be coming up in future floss tubes. The other thing that I have worked on from Trish's recently is, I think I showed this kit when I purchased it, but now I have it finished, is this kit for fresh picked strawberries. This kit was amazing. It was so complete. And look at this. Just check out this. It just made this little batch of strawberries. So cute. She gave you little embellishments with the kit, and these are really firm. And I must say that when I first opened the kit, I thought, wow, it doesn't really seem like there's enough filler or stuffing in there for these strawberries. Well, I'll tell you, I had some left over so that I can make more berries. So these are some of the berries. I love them. They were so much fun to make, and they really worked up very quickly. I think I made all of them in an evening. So Trish, in all of her generosity, gifted me not 1, but 2 strawberry kits to share with you today as part of our birthday celebration of our country. What's a birthday without birthday presents? So she gifted me 2 of those kits to share with you today. And from what I understand, she is getting ready to come out with some new things on her website, which I can't wait to see what they are, because I will be putting my order right in. So anyway, check out Attic Heirlooms. It's Trish Harriman. She is such a nice person, so talented, so thoughtful, and very, very creative. So there you go. Check out those strawberries, and I will get back at the end of my video with the giveaway information for those. So something else I've been working on, I have been doing the Colorado Cross Stitcher Summer Camp. Now, I don't know if any of you have done the Colorado Cross Stitcher Summer Camp before, but what it is Shellie from Colorado Cross Stitcher has a shop out in Colorado, but each year on Facebook in the summertime for June, July, and August, there's a different prompt, and you, in the beginning of the month, or when you get around to it in the month, you post a picture of your materials and design for your project that corresponds with the prompt, and that is what you're committing to do during the month. And then when you finish your item, you can post the picture on Facebook on the Cross Stitch Camp Facebook page, but then post a photo of it on the Colorado Cross Stitcher website. It's in a drop-down menu to upload photos where she has new things. So for June, the prompt was to stitch something patriotic. No, not patriotic. That was for July. you had to stitch something from a magazine. I chose to stitch something patriotic, and it was Let Freedom Ring. And this was from Just Cross Stitch Summer 2025. And this was a design by October House Fiber Arts. They make all of those little thin little pin cushions or bowl fillers or whatever. So this one I did, it was Let Freedom Ring. And I did change up some of the colors, and I stuffed it with lizard litter. So that was the June prompt. So the July prompt was to stitch something patriotic. So what I chose to do for that was, and I have not posted this yet, I wanted to show it to all of you first. What I chose to do was one of the designs from Crafty Bluebonnet, and it's from their Baked Fresh Patriotic Cookies from Market this year. This was a collaboration that I think was between 5 or 6 designers, where they created cookies to attach to this cookie jar. I did not do that, but what I did do was stitch this flag design down here. And I went ahead and mounted it on one of the little totes from Trader Joe's. So I can't wait to use this. People have been doing all kinds of creative things with these little totes from Trader Joe's. I think they're like $2.99 or $3.99. And this summer they had them in a blue stripe, a green stripe, a pink stripe, and a beige stripe. So I was going to finish it in a different way, but my tote was just laying there when I was nearing a finish on this, and I thought, let me see if it covers up the Trader Joe's logo, because there's a logo embroidered on both sides. So on one side, I still have my Trader Joe's logo, which is fun. And then on the other side, it covers. Oopsies. So now I can post, now that I've shared this with you, I can post it on the Cross Stitch Camp Facebook page. But this was really fun, and these totes are so useful. You can always use another tote bag. And I just thought it was a really cute way to do my July prompt. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is that if you post your photo on the Colorado Cross Stitcher website, by the end of the month, of the designated month, Sherry has wonderful prizes that she does a raffle for to award to the people who have had finishes for that month. It's really fun. So the prompt for August, in August, it's always the same prompt. She's been doing this for, I think, 5 years. I have participated every year. It's just a lot of fun. The prompt for August is always the same. It is try something new, whether that be a new fabric, a new fiber, a new designer, a new technique, a new stitch. So you just have to, when you present your August project, you just say what is new to you. So that's a lot of fun. So I've been working on that. The other thing, I have so many finishes here. I'm like kind of tickled. Uh-oh, I just dropped something. Hold on. There we go. This was another project that started back in October. This was a download from Primrose Cottage, and it was Happy 250th Birthday, America. So this started in October, and the idea was that you would stitch 1 star a day from whatever the date was in October when we started, and then you would put your last star on the flag on the 4th of July. So I did that, and it was really fun. The only thing is this chart only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It only had 45 stars. And at first I did the 45 stars or 40 stars. And that kind of bugged me So I did go back at a later date and pulled out. I hate pulling out stitching, but I went and pulled out and made it to be 50 stars. So I did finish this. This was stitched on, I think, Weeks Dye Works tin roof. And it's either tin roof or Confederate gray. I think it's tin roof. And I have my whole flag done. However, this is something also that I would like to see what all of you have done. People are stitching underneath the flag something about our birthday, whether it's the semi-quincentennial, whether it's just the year, whatever. So if you have stitched this and put something different on the bottom, please reach out in the comments. I'd like to know. I think I'm leaning towards something about the semi-quincentennial. That way I'll always see that word and can say it too. So that was a fun stitch, and it was just one star a day from October, and I kind of would start my morning with that. It just takes a few minutes, and started off my day with a stitch. How great is that? So some more things that I have been doing. All right, on my last video that I did by myself, I think I showed this patriotic pin pillow that was a design by my friend Rose Kotnick. She used to have a company called Tomorrow's Antiques. I've checked with Rose. This is not available anymore. Every now and then you can find one of her beaded charts on the secondary market. So this was all surface beading. It is not peyote beading. You are attaching the beads to a ground fabric with just a half cross stitch. You go across the whole row and then weave, run the needle back through and then go left to right again with the next row of beads. So on my last video, I showed, or video 29, I showed that I was stitching this, but I was getting ready to go to a retreat in Ohio and I had to make an exchange gift. So what I did is I had done my beaded one, which I will show you the finished beaded mattress pin pillow here in a little bit. But what I did is I transferred the colors to thread and then stitched the same thing in thread that I made a little pin cushion. And I still want to do, I'm kind of obsessed with this little pin cushion. I do want to do another one for myself. So this is the mattress pin cushion. It is finished with grosgrain ribbon around the outside. And then on the bottom, it has some nice red ultra suede. I was really thrilled with how this turned out. I had wanted to completely finish it before I filmed my last, or the floss tube where I showed this, but I did not have any of the red ultra suede, or I could not find this grosgrain ribbon. But I had friends help me out. My friend Stacy provided me with some ribbon, and my friend Rose gave me some of the ultra suede. So I did have that completed. I completed that after the retreat in Ohio. But then when we were in Ohio, I had a friend, I had this little red box with me that was a gift from my friend Sarah at Christmas time. And I showed someone my beaded flag and they just laid it down on my box and said, oh, well, instead of making it into the pin pillow, you should just mount it on this box. Well, I was kind of set on making the pin pillow. So what I did, I stitched it again. It really works up quickly. So here it is. I stitched it and mounted it onto this red metal box. Now this box, I asked Sarah where she bought it. Sarah is the owner of Salty Yarns in Berlin, Maryland. And she said she purchased it at a store in Berlin called the Victorian Rose. So I don't know if they have any more or what the story is there, but if you're interested, I'll look up their phone number or their website or whatever, and I'll put it in my show notes. But this was so much fun to put it on here. I just glued it down. I mounted this on mat board, and then I glued it down with E6000 glue and then made some floss cording and put it around the outside. And then I went ahead and lined the bottom of it. super quick finish, easy. Now on the bottom of this box, it says Toyo, Toyo. So that might be a source to find them too if you look up Toyo. But another fun finish, and I have really enjoyed this. So like I mentioned on my last video where I talked about the beading, is you can take any design really, any simple design or more intricate if you are up for it, but you can go ahead and you can bead your design instead of stitching your design. So that's just an option. I still have some more finishes. So this was another little box that I did here. This box was from Michael's. It's one of the little book boxes. And I got this around Memorial Day. And again, I made a little stitchy box out of it. And this design was from Snowflower Diaries. And this is a free design. And it's called Sweet Land of Liberty. Here, I'll show you. It's funny, the chart for it is really big and the picture of it is really small. So they stitched theirs on Vintage Country Mocha. I was stitching mine on perforated paper. So I went ahead then and filled in the background with kind of a Vintage Country Mocha color. Just cut it out from the perforated paper and glued it right onto this little box. Another fun little finish for all the patriotic stitching that we're doing this year. So that was great too. The other thing I did, yes, I'm not finished with patriotic yet, is when I went up to the retreat in Ohio, my friend Barb gifted our friend Monica and myself this little beaded scissor fob to make. Now this is not a Fern Ridge beaded fob, which, you know, everyone seems to be familiar with Fern Ridge. This is by Ghost Boy Needleworks. And this was a great little kit. In fact, I beaded the whole thing when I was up there. So this will be great. And I've been enjoying having this in my little red box. I think it goes perfectly in there. So that's yet another finish. But wait, there's more. So this fun design I picked up at Liberty Hill. I had never heard of this designer before. It's called Cute Embroidery by Kate. And she did these beach houses. So here, I'll show you close. So I just thought these were adorable as they sit on these tiny easels. So it makes it look like it's a beach house, you know, a beach house on stilts, as so many of them are. So I stitched this one. Whoops. Oopsies. Redo. Isn't that just the cutest? I stitched this one on 14 count perforated PVC. It's really hard to find the perforated paper right now, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go on the PVC and try it out. A lot of people are a little hesitant about the PVC because they just think plastic canvas. Well, I was pleasantly surprised. Oh, I don't know why when I record my nose always starts to itch. Must mean someone's talking about me. Does that mean someone's talking about you or that you're getting money? Let's hope that it's getting money instead of people talking about me. If they are talking about me, hopefully it's in a positive mode. So this is the perforated PVC. It is very thin. It has very much the feel of the perforated paper in that it's very smooth on one side and a little bit roughed up on the other side, much like the perforated paper. It was easy to stitch on. It was easy to cut out. So if you're a little bit hesitant about the perforated PVC, just go for it. I don't think there's anything we can do to change it unless you find perforated paper somewhere else. Grab it if you see it. But the perforated paper, the perforated PVC was actually very pleasant to stitch on. And there was two other designs in this. chart that I will be doing also. I will say the perfectionist Virgo in me, with the size easel I had, I didn't really like that when I cut it out, it showed the top of the easel. To me then, it just looked like a house on an easel rather than a beach house on stilts. So I then glued some wool felt, or this is felted wool, glued it to the back, and then cut it out, and then it no longer showed the top of the easel. So there's a couple more of these to do, and they were really a delight to stitch and just a fun little palette cleanser. I still have more. Can you believe it? This is all in like a month and a half time. All right, I have been unearthing things from my sewing room that need finishing. Years and years ago, I had a finishing business and I had more work than I could deal with and really never advertised. And then life situation happened that I closed my finishing business. My kids were then grown up and I didn't really have to have like an at-home thing anymore. I started working at the hospital full-time in the operating room, and my finishing business, I just stopped. Well, like the shoemakers, kids have holes in their shoes. I have tons of my own finishing that just have never gotten finished. This one is not from too terribly long ago. This is probably from only a year or so ago, and I think this was done as a, I'm not sure if this was from Hands-On Design or whether it was from Chantel's, because this wooden frame is from Chantel's, or whether it was on the Homespun group on Facebook where Julie Corsave has exclusives. I'm not really sure where this came from, but this was called Sorry Can't Stitching By. Well, I did mine, I did the by all in one color because on the chart, for my eyes anyway, it was hard to read where it says by. So I finished the stitching on this quite a while ago. I think when it first came out, I think I did it right away. Well, I finally got around to gluing all the pieces of the hoop frame together and mounting it. Well, the mounting was super easy. Chantal has a wonderful video about her finishing on YouTube. So I just searched for, Hands-On Design, Sorry Can't Finishing, and the video popped right up. So here it is. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And then besides this piece, there was another little bonus project, which I kind of had forgotten all about, but there's another little one. So you don't need the inside painted because your piece will be mounted in that. So it's another little bonus chart, and it's this. It stitches up to be this little quilt block. Like I said, I had forgotten all about it, that there was a second piece, but now that I know, I can get to it and stitch that one too. I've already painted the frame, and yeah, it'll be fun. This is just a fun little thing for your sewing room. Sorry Can't Stitching By. How many times have we felt like that? That someone asks us to do something and we're like, I'd really rather just stitch. So anyway, here we go. That's from Hands-On Design. Love the designs. The little frame from Chantel's actually was in 3 pieces, and you glued together the back, the center, and then the top piece, and then went ahead and painted and finished it. So that's another finish I have for you. Okay. Two more finishes and a reacquisition, and I'll tell you about that in a second. This one, I have finished stitching. This was actually on my July whip go. For my whip go this year, I am focusing on 4 things actually. I have a lot of things on my whip go squares. On each square, I have a Christmas, I have a patriotic, and then depending on the number, whether it's an odd number or even number that's called, I also try to take time to work on my big projects, which are two of my big projects, which is Peacock Unicorn and a Badger. That, I must say, has not gotten a lot of love this year so far. I'll tell you why in a second. I might have mentioned this before, but it's so aggravating. The other one is His Eye is on the Sparrow by Beth Twist, which is supposed to be my leap year finish, which honestly, I've started it 3 times on different counts. I've talked about that before. I started it once. I thought I was going to do it on 25 count over 1. Wasn't happening. Thought I would do it on 40 count over 2. Wasn't happening. So I found my sweet spot, which is 36 count linen, 1 thread over 2, and I've taken off on it, but my progress has been slow. But those are my whip goes and my big whip goes. And then for each month, I have a Christmas and a patriotic. So for July, I have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas from Antique Needleworkers. This is Shellie from Antique Needleworkers. And this gets finished onto a spool, which it's just adorable. It was here's the spool. And I bought this spool from Shellie. And I'm just waiting on some finishing ribbon. But here it is. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. And I have to show you something really cool. Well, I think it's cool that I just did. I've seen this twice recently, and it made me want to design my own. Instead of just, I always personalize my stitching, whether it's just a simple backstitch initials or L. Duffin in the year, or somehow work my initials into the piece, but I always personalize my stitching no matter what I do. So recently I saw that people had designed their signature. So yesterday, as a matter of fact, I charted out my signature. So here it is. It's probably hard to see, but on the bottom here, I backstitched my signature on this, and then I saved the little design I did that I can put it on other things. So the first person I saw that did it was Linda Zimmerman from the Western Reserve Sampler Guild. It's a big name to stitch out, but she stitched out her signature. And then I don't remember the person's name. I think her name might be Joanne, not sure. But she came into the shop on Saturday at Liberty Hill, and she had stitched Paulette's America 250. And she had put her signature on it. So I asked her how she did that, and she said she just writes out her signature on graph paper, just signs her signature, and then below that, she tried to chart it, keeping it on the lines of the graph paper, and then she stitched from charting it that way. So I tried it, and I really loved how it worked out. Let me show it to you again. It just turned out really cute. Kind of hard to see it. It's kind of blurry, but it's very legible on the stitched piece. So I was pretty excited about that, and I plan to put my signature on other things that I do. So I just thought that was kind of cool. So thank you to those 2 ladies that encouraged me to go ahead and do that. The other finishes that I have are 5. Yes, 5. I have joined the Hands-On Design Patreon, and I'm only in a few Patreons, but this one really appealed to me because Kathy Heberman, it's her Patreon, Hands-On Design, and she has 2 levels. One level, you can just buy the chart. She's doing a year of ornaments. Now, they're not all going to be Christmas ornaments from my understanding. The first 2 series are Christmas, but I'm not sure about the others. So the first series included 5 ornaments, and it was called Merry Moments. So you can join on 2 levels. You can join on one level just to get the chart each month, the download, or on the second level, you can join and you get finishing videos and other content about the ornaments. So I did that. And like I said, I'm a finisher myself, but it was amazing how many tips and tricks that I could pick up just from following Kathy's videos. It was really clever. And then, so in the Merry Moments series, there was 5 ornaments, and each one featured a different type of finishing for the ornaments. So I finished them all, and I'm really proud of myself on that, because oftentimes with stitch alongs, I fall more into the start along. My intentions are always stellar, but it doesn't always work out that way. Okay, so the first one was this Santa, and hers were stitched on a neutral color linen, like a natural color. I did mine on Picture This Plus Dawn. I think it was Picture This Plus. So, and I used, mine was a blue, and blue can really be a very nice neutral at times. So this was the first one. This was how Kathy's was. Now, you can also buy from Lindy Stitches, you can buy finishing kits for these, including the mat boards and what have you. I chose to use my own finishing supplies and mat boards because I stitched mine on 36 count, where these were stitched on 32 count. And I knew I would have to resize the boards and everything, and I have quite a bit of ribbons, trims, embellishments, charms, so I just decided to use what I had. And this is a Lady Dot tinsel that I got from Etsy, and so I was really thrilled with how this turned out. I really like how the red and white of the candy canes pop on the blue. The only thing I had to do was to fill in Santa's face, because on the chart the face was not filled in, and so I didn't want him to have a blue face, so I did go ahead and fill in Santa's face. So this was the first one, and this is called Sweets for Santa. And then I put a little candy cane fabric on the back. It's a double face mount. That means that you mount your stitched piece on one side with a piece of Warm and Natural underneath, your fabric on the other side, hold them together like a sandwich, and you ladder stitch them together, and then you apply your trim. So on my trim, I did not glue it down. I sewed down the trim, and I was really happy with the way this one turned out. So that was the first one. The second one was called Light the Way, which I just love this with the candle. And so this was my interpretation of Light the Way. Again, on the blue fabric. I did change my candle to like a beeswax color candle instead of the white. It just showed up better for my eye. But I was really happy with this. I went ahead, and so her finishing technique was she was showing how to do an arch. So that was really nice. Again, it was finished as a double face mount with the fabric on the back, the stitching on the front. I went ahead and made my own twisted cording out of one of the thread colors. It's really great to learn how to make twisted cording because you can always have a trim then that matches your piece exactly. So I went ahead and did that, and then took a little, just another Button Company button of holly and put it down at the bottom there. And again, always my initials. So that was Light the Way. I really, really loved this ornament. So that was the second one in the series. The third one in the series, oops, I just dropped part of it. Okay, this was called Plaid Tidings. Now, like Kathy, she loves plaid, and I do too. I love anything plaid. I'm a sucker for anything plaid and just have to have it all. We had plaid as part of our bridesmaids' flowers in our wedding, and we had plaid table runners on our tables at our weddings. So this was called Plaid Tidings, and this was supposed to look like a gift tag wrapped up like a package. And then this thing here was a little, it's called a memo pin, and that was from Tim Holtz. And that you just stuck in there. And then Kathy gave us like a page with all different sentiments. There was Mary, there was joy, there was, I don't know, there was several. I used joy, she used Mary. So right now I'm drawing a mental block on what the other ones were. But so this was mine. And the lesson for this was to learn how to measure for and cut accurate angles here. So I did that. And again, it's got fabric on the back. I love this fabric because it kind of looks like cross stitches on the back. This was just a fabric that I recently purchased from Hobby Lobby. So this was really fun to do joy, or to do plaid tidings. All right, the next one was called Hark How the Bells, and this was another favorite of mine. This just showed Merry Christmas bells. I did little Smyrna crosses for the little snowflakes there. And then I affixed bells, and then some more, just another Button Company bells on the top. And then once again, made my own floss cording to put around the edge. And this was my backing. And this is the way Kathy's looked. So here she was teaching how to finish a circle. Now, I think that circles are the easiest to finish. Oh, she also showed how to do kind of a domed look. And we just achieved this by cutting our batting, cutting circles of batting, different circumferences to kind of make a stack, a tower of them, so that they kind of, each layer was a little bit smaller than the next, so that when you covered it with your fabric, the center was higher than the edges. So, but I really love this one. This was Hark How the Bells. And then lastly, we had a vintage rocker. So this utilized a lot of the skills that you've learned. And again, this was finishing an oval. But what we did with this was we made it kind of a thicker ornament. So we covered the top with the fabric, with our stitching, covered the bottom with fabric, and then sandwiched it between some foam core. So we sewed them all together, and then in her directions, Kathy has wonderful finishing videos. She couched down the ribbon on the side. I chose not to do that. Instead of couching it down, I took itty bitty stitches and just sewed it down on the edge. But I was really happy with the way this turned out as well. So that was a really fun series. If you want to join Kathy's Patreon, and you join now, she's just started her next series, and her next series is called Quilted Gingers, and it's little gingerbread houses. It's going to be 3 gingerbread houses. It just started. I have gathered my supplies. I am using the 32 count linen this time, so I did go ahead and order the accessory pack from just went right out of my head, Lindy Stitches. I did order the finishing pack since I will be utilizing the same size for the boards, and I ordered the finishing boards and the trims just to see if I like that method of participating. With this one, you're making 3 ornaments. You can either do them as separate ornaments or somehow attach them together to be what's called a triptych. So I think I'm planning on doing mine as the triptych, but I'll keep you posted as I go. So if you want to get on to Kathy's Patreon now, you can join and you can be part of getting the Quilted Gingers. But then if you want the other ornaments that we just did, the other 5 that we did since the beginning of the year, as a Patreon member, they will be available for you for purchase. So that's something to consider. It was really fun. I love Attic Heirlooms Designs. I met her at market and she was a delight. I really enjoyed her. When we chatted, I planned to go back on Sunday again to chit chat with her some more, but it was too busy and I did not get a chance to go back. But she was lovely. She has lovely finishing videos and is an excellent teacher. And she was just fun and funny, and it was great to spend a little bit of time with her. All right, so I have one more finish. Well, it's not really a finish, it's a reacquisition. This is a model that I had stitched for Sylvia with Running with Needles and Scissors, and this is called Milady's Courtship Conundrum. And I had stitched this model for Sylvia, and this might look familiar to some of you. Sylvia had one of the schoolgirl sampler kits presented by Country Sampler a few years back. And it was this, Milady's Courtship Conundrum, and it was done in a more primitive colorway. Jeannie at the Country Sampler loves everything's very prim, and she always does color conversions and everything. So, you know, it just seemed fitting that she had a prim color conversion for this for Country Sampler. But then Sylvia had her own color palette and then had the Country Sampler model stitched. And then she had this model stitched also that I did for her. So different designers do their model stitching reimbursement in different ways. Some do payments, some give you your model back. There's all different agreements that you sign up for. But for Sylvia, I got the model back when she no longer needed it. And so I think this is just precious. So here you've got Milady here. Milady's right here. And her courtship conundrum is that there's two suitors that are after her. Here, this one guy here, and he has the house. And this guy here, he has the dogs. So who would you go for? It could be quite the conundrum. So after I really studied this sampler, I thought that I would go for the guy with the dogs, because who doesn't love dogs and pets? Because also this guy here, I said that he was a pothead. He has a pot of flowers on his head. So anyway, I'm really glad to have this back. When Sylvia gave it back to me, it did not have glass on it. I do like to glass my pieces, so I did take it to my framer and had a piece of glass put in it, and I just got it back the other day. So now I can't wait to hang it on my wall. So you might want to check out Sylvia's website, Running with Needles and Scissors. She also has a floss tube and an Instagram. So there you have it. All right. I've got some whips here to show you. So these are some of my whips that I would love to spend more time on. I just haven't gotten to it, but you can see I haven't really been a slacker. I've been doing a lot of things. This is Abigail, one of the animal crackers from Stacy Nash. Sadly, I just did a little bit of work on her. I've just started her dress. I really want to dive into doing her sweet little face. So that'll probably be next. I do plan on doing the little drum also that goes with Abigail. So that's one of my whips. My other whip is Flag Folk from Not Forgotten Farm. And all of these have been calls on my whip go this year. So Flag Folk, I did give a little bit more love to. I am using the Country Sampler conversion on this, but I had finished the outside of the border. I am a border girl. I like to do that. And then I just did this cartouche in the middle where it's going to say Flag Folk. I'm using the Country Sampler conversion. And here's the picture. I, though, am using Fox and Rabbit Dirt Track Linen on mine. Oh, upside down, sideways. So there you have that. Then I have been working on this. I'm getting ready to go away, which I will tell you about in a little bit. Sorry, crinkle alert. This is Patriot Math from My Sister's Samplers. I absolutely love this. I have done another multiplication table in the past. In fact, it's right up here. It was from Kathy Barrick. I think I took it down the last time. And this is Patriot Math. And I love what this says. It says multiplication table. 1 times 1 equals 1. 11 times 7 equals 77. 1 times 6 equals 6. 1776 equals freedom. So what I was seeking to do with this, which I did achieve that goal, was I wanted to get my grid in. So then I can start to fill in all the multiplication numbers. At the same time of doing that, I think I'm going to also stitch in where it says multiplication table. But this is all stitched with Belsois silk. They have it for Gloriana silks, but I'm doing mine with Belsois. And it's just the 3 colors. And I'm really enjoying this stitch. It's a lot of fun, and it's something that I will be able to do with people around. So that's that. The other thing that I'm working on, this was a July whip go for me also, and this is from Antique Needleworkers. Winter Biscornu. And this had some pins available. I bought this from Shellie from Antique Needleworkers, and it had a pin set, beautiful pin set from Jersey Girl Stitch Co. This pin is really sparkly here, and this will be perfect in this Biscornu. So, and I am stitching this on Needle Bling Heirloom, 36 count, and I am this far on it. So I'm making progress. Actually, I just started this last night, so I'm pretty thrilled with how that's turning out so far. I don't really think it will take very long. So stay tuned with that. So that's one of my whip go calls for July. All right, so then I also have some other stitch alongs I'm doing. So this stitch along is through our Sampler Years on Facebook, and it's Harriet Goddard from Hats. So this has been a delightful stitch along because Harriet is a small sampler, and it makes the monthly assignments very quick to do, which has been really nice. The assignments are quick to do and very achievable, so I'm all caught up for July. Some people have gone ahead and just finished. I might do that, but I enjoy the stitch along process of a stitch along. I feel like I have little accomplishments. I've shown this before, and what I showed, and I asked you about it, down the sides, it just shows like a half cross. I don't know if you can see that. That was kind of making me a little crazy in my perfectionist way, because I thought it looked like I forgot to finish some stitches. And some of you in the comments have said, well, if it was mine, I wouldn't be able to deal with that either. I would go ahead and finish them. So I did. I finished down the one side here, and I have to go and finish the other side. But the thing is, the way that I stitch with my finishing stitch going bottom right to top left, that's what's there is the half cross. So I have to go under the stitch to get that bottom stitch in there, if you know what I'm trying to describe. So Harriet has been a really fun little sampler to do so far. Again, I left out some motif up here, so I put my initials in there that I'm doing this in 2026. So that's Harriet Goddard from the Stitch Along from our Sampler Years on Facebook. Krista Gramer is spearheading that one for everybody. Okay, so you've seen all my palette cleansers, my tapas, whatever you want to call the small projects. I just love that. I think it's so cute. So here's some of my big girls that I have been working on. I've been working on Plumstreet Samplers Liberty Welcome, and I am doing this using the called for NPI silks. And Offhand, I forget what linen I'm using. I might have written it on here somewhere. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. But here we have, I don't know. I have made a lot of progress on this big beauty, my big awesome project. Some people call BAPs other things. I like to call them big awesome projects. So I am a border girl. I got the whole border outlined. I'm filling in the flowers, and now I am building a house roof down. I love big houses. I love the fill-in. Again, oh, I've got all these threads hanging here. Let me show you that again. I love big houses. I love big houses, and I cannot lie. And so it's really fun building this roof and building my house top down. And again, this is a project that I'm going to take with me this week when I go away. And like I said, I will tell you all about that trip I'm taking. So that's one of my big girls I'm working on. Another one I'm working on, doing this as a stitch along with some of the ladies that work at the shop and some of the customers from the shop. So it's fun. This is My Hometown by Teresa Kogut. And I am stitching this on a Mrs. Crown's cup of, let me see, it was a crescent, Miss Crescent cup of mocha. I'm stitching it on that linen, 36 count. And we are doing this as a 2-year sal with some of the ladies from the shop. I can't really do the border because the border is the design, but I just wanted to make sure that I had enough linen. I always double check while it's early. And so I went across the whole thing. So we're doing this as a stitch along from some of the people that work at the shop, and some of the customers are working on this together. And they've all selected different linens, and I'm using the called for threads, and I think they are too. There's somebody working on at the shop that isn't really part of our stitch along, but she's just pulling threads from whatever. But there's a lot of threads in here, and it'll be fun. And Teresa gives you a alphabet that you can chart out your own town. So, you know, I talk about living in Williamsburg. I live in Toano, which is the next town over from Williamsburg. So I think, and it's just a tiny little town that has some very historic buildings. So I think I am going to just stitch on here Toano, VA, or maybe put Virginia type. You know, I won't have room to put it all, so I might chart that out smaller. I don't know. I can work on that later. But so that's another big beautiful girl that I'm working on, a big awesome project. And look at this. This is a gorgeous project bag that I have it in from, I bought this when I went to a retreat in Ohio back in May, and I still have to tell you about the retreats, so here you go. There's a lady there that made these bags, and I think she only made, I think she said 18. Well, there was around 40 people there, and they went, as soon as the little shop opened, her little pop-up shop opened, they were just gone. So beautiful bag there. The other big awesome project I'm working on, like I've mentioned a number of times, is my Huzzah on the Sparrow. And it's huge, but I've been concentrating on these houses in the middle. And I have joined 2 ladies that are working on this as their Sunday stitch. And they've been more religious about doing it than I have. I've just had a lot of other things going on and maybe don't even get a chance to stitch on Sundays, but that is a goal. I was so excited that yesterday I found a big frame in the frame miscuts at Michael's that is huge, that'll actually might work for Huzzah on the Sparrow. And this frame is way larger than Sparrow. So I'll have to see towards the end and see whether it works out. But I just might be having it framed in that. All right. One thing I wanted to mention to you of upcoming events, there's 2 upcoming events. There is Jamboree at Salty Yarns. Now, Jamboree is an event that Sarah has at Salty Yarns every year in October. It used to be, I think, end of September, beginning of October. This year it's in October, from October 9th to 11th. And it is a wonderful, wonderful weekend. So let me tell you what Jamboree is going to be like this year. Salty Yarns is located in Berlin, Maryland. It's the next town over from Ocean City, Maryland. And it's a wonderful shop, a huge shop. In the back of the shop, there is a classroom that can hold all the retreat goers. It's perfect. So what makes it so fun when you're at a class at Salty Yarns is that, you know how we all enable each other, and I show you one thing that you have to have, you show me something that I have to have. Well, the whole weekend at Salty Yarns, you can keep a bag going with your name on it of all your purchases that you would like to make, and you can just stitch and then go shop and then snack and stitch and shop, talk, snack, and that's great at their stitching events. But they also at Jamboree have classes, and so the cost of the weekend is $425. It requires a $100 deposit. And then the rest of the $325 is due at the end of the summer. The hotel is not included, that you can find your own place, but you know, in October in Ocean City, it's off season, so you can get an Airbnb with friends, or the hotels are a little bit reduced price. I'm getting very thirsty. I need to take a drink here. So this year, like I said, it's October 9th to 11th. And Shellie Fry from Antique Needleworkers will be the guest teacher. So on the first class she is teaching is a sampler that is historic for our year's 250th, for our nation's 250th. And then the second day she is teaching a thimble case that I believe, a thimble purse, which I believe will have some pre-stitching. I haven't gotten any information on that yet, but so you'll have the 2 projects. So the way it goes is that, let's see, on October 9th to 11th, you start with a dinner reception, a welcome dinner reception on Friday night. And you can actually come in during shop hours anytime on Friday and stitch. If you come in early for the retreat, you can still go back to the classroom and stitch during shop hours. So if you come in a day early for the retreat, you're still welcome to come and stitch with your friends, which is really nice. And you can also get some early shopping. So anyway, on Friday night, there's a welcome dinner reception. On Saturday is your class and your first class, and you get a catered lunch. On Sunday is the second class, and you get a catered lunch as well. And then it ends Sunday afternoon. It's really a great time. Sarah is thrilled to have Shellie Fry from Antique Needleworkers be her teacher this year. If you have never seen Shellie's floss tube, hop over to Antique Needleworkers. She is a gem. She has such a calm, sweet demeanor about her, and she is very creative and talented, and you will not regret signing up for the Salty Yarns Jamboree. Any class I take at Salty Yarns is always so much fun. The shop is very welcoming. It is chock full of stitching and knitting, and they really seem to have everything. One thing that's nice about the shop is that they not only have the cross stitch, a huge linen supply, and all of the threads, but they also seem to always have all of the little doodads that you need to complete your project. Has a wonderful selection of boxes and carriers and little frame things. And Sarah's husband, Vern, has been making some things for the shop that are awesome for finishing, and they have tons and tons of models, and it'll really be a great fall weekend. So I was speaking with Sarah yesterday, and she still has some spots left at the retreat. So I will put the contact information 4 salty yarns in my show notes that you can then call and get your deposit in and secure your spot at the retreat. Like I said, there's Airbnbs, lots of Airbnbs in the area. There's hotels. There's lots of fun shopping. If you want to do like the beachy kind of souvenir shopping, there's that. There's antiquing. And then there's fabulous shopping at the store. And then Berlin is a charming little town that has great restaurants and fun little shops to poke in and out of too. So what you might want to do is go early and stay late, because it will be a great retreat. I love it to go to Jamboree in the fall. It's something that I always look forward to. And if you go, I would love meeting all of you. And Shellie will not disappoint. She is so knowledgeable and designed a lovely sampler and thimble case for this weekend. So that'll be a lot of fun. And like I said, her sampler celebrates our country's 250th. And then I don't really know much about the thimble purse yet, but I'm sure it will not disappoint. So the other thing is here at Liberty Hill Needleworks, September 19th, they are having their next stitch-in day at Legacy Hall in Williamsburg. Now, the stitch-in days at Liberty Hill are great. We just had one that was called Bumblebees, and it was called Summer Breeze and Bumblebees, and I will show you some of the things from that in a little bit. But the stitch days are just that. There is no class involved, but it is a fun day to gather with friends. The price for that is $125. There is a new one that we just opened registration for that is called Fall into Autumn, I believe. Fall into Autumn. It's on the Liberty Hill website. You can sign up on the website. You can call the shop to sign up, or easiest yet, you can sign up online. And so that day goes from 10 to 4, and it starts out in the morning with just little juice and breakfast muffins. If you want like a full breakfast, have that before you go. But there's like little treats in the morning, a little sustenance, and then you get a lunch, and there's snacks and lots of a beautiful goodie bag. Susan does a lovely goodie bag. She often makes things for the goodie bag. And then she has prizes, raffles, and drawings all day throughout the day. And then she usually does a charity project also, where people donate, the raffle ticket money, like raffles for the charity project. And last time she raised $2,000 for the Humane Society in town. So it helps out all the little animals that are needing a new home. So that's what we have coming up here. Again, check out Jamboree. You will not be disappointed. Shellie will be an amazing teacher there. Sarah throws a good party. Sarah does a lovely retreat, so you will not be disappointed. And what's really cool about that is it's all right there at the shop. The other one here in Williamsburg is the Stitch Day through Liberty Hill, and that's something to check out too. Those Stitch Days are very popular. Susan has them about 4 times a year, and we always have a full room of stitchers, and it's a great way to come with friends or to come and meet friends. So that's something you might consider also. So 2 of the retreats that I have been on recently was I went up to Ohio for the Western Reserve Sampler Guild retreat in May. And I've been a member of the Western Reserve Sampler Guild in Ohio for 31 years. And they are a wonderful group. One thing positive that has come through COVID is that now they are very accessible on Zoom. They do their meetings on Zoom. And it just makes it accessible for everyone. Well, they had their first retreat in May, and it was primarily a stitch retreat. However, Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors also had a class that she provided that was optional. So some people did sign up for the class. The other people just did their stitching. It was a choice. You could make a choice whether you wanted to participate in the class or not, or just bring your own stitching. I've been talking a long time here, kids, and I'm getting kind of dry. Okay, so I wanted to show you some of those things. So I drove up a day early, and I met with my friend Barb and Monica, and I stayed at Monica's house with her. And oh, I don't have it. Monica made me a beautiful stitching mat, which I don't have with me right now because I have it packed for a retreat I'm leaving for tomorrow. But Barb gifted me this beautiful basket that was so sweet. It was made by her mother, and I used to be friends with her mother too. Her mother, Nancy, was just lovely, such a sweet person, very talented, an amazing stitcher. Sadly, her mom, Nancy, passed away a number of years ago, and Barb gifted me this basket that her mom made, which I was just thrilled to have. So that was just a very special thing for me to have. So in this basket right now, I have some of the things from the retreat that we got. This was a retreat gift, this project bag. Lovely. They had these made for everyone. They had it in the white colorway and the blue colorway. I was happy to get a white colorway because I already have this bag in the blue colorway that I bought at the shop that was made by Darlinda. They also had door prizes, and I was lucky to receive this door prize. This is from Chessie and me. This nice kit. Well, it's not a kit, this is the chart. But then I did receive with it the little box that you finish, that it all goes in. So I was pretty excited about that. Some of the gifts from other stitchers, the table gifts, were amazing. My friend Monica gave us this cute box, and she had a berry that she made us with USA. And then in here she had candy, needles, and there was a cute little eagle in here somewhere. Look at this little eagle that you can put somewhere with your stitching. It's really cute. Okay, and then someone else gave this whole basket of little patriotic goodies. There's some fat quarters of fabric in there, and then they made a little firecracker and some patriotic little candies. So now that I've shown you all this, I can put it, let me open this up. Look at this little firecracker. Isn't that cute? And then she made these little, like, patriotic bonbons. So now I can put them in my patriotic display. And even though the 4th is over, I'm leaving my patriotic up for a long time. And then my friend Barb gave me this little box. So cute. Someone else, I thought this was very clever, and people are always looking for table gifts, so I thought I would share them with you. Somebody else made this. It's like a little emergency kit for stitchers. There's extra threads, some wet wipes, lens wipes, emery board, and some mints. How cute is that? And a thread ring. So how cute is that to just do a little emergency kit, stitching emergency kit, which I thought was so sweet. Then my friend Rose gave me one of these. This was her table gift. She was not at my table, but she gave me one of these. And this was a little needle book that she made, and it's got a tiniest little head of bow closure there and needles in it. So cute. Rose did an amazing job with that. Let's see. Someone else gave a pin. Western Reserve Sampler Guild. There's some things here that I'm missing. Someone else gave this little notebook. Here's some thread drops from another person. And some more thread drops. And then this little bucket with some more fat quarters in it. People were so creative and so clever. And then my friend Stacy Stinson gave everyone this little box. Now she works for an orthodontist, and it's always nice to reuse things. She said these boxes somehow came from the orthodontist of some equipment or whatever disposables that would be in this, and she was saving them up and made this little ditty box for everybody and put a couple little things in here. She put a little scrubby and a little thread, little thread winder. So cute. Someone else gave some hand sanitizer. Here's a little bag with a tiny little scissor and some 2026 charms. So it was really a great retreat. It was a great retreat, and they had some pop-up shops. And I had purchased a few things. You've heard of this person before. I've talked about her on here, and I will talk about her again today. This is Rebecca Brigham she has an Etsy shop called My Recycled Relatives, and I bought these pins from her. Look how pretty these are. These are just gorgeous. Just love that sparkle and the bling on there. I bought those. I bought this fob with the tomato. And then I bought these beachy pins from her too. Let me show you those. Now Rebecca also is doing another giveaway. She had done one once before on my channel. She's doing another giveaway from My Recycled Relatives. So stay tuned, and I will mention that at the end. We've got lots of good giveaways today in our birthday celebration. So there you have that. So the other retreat that I went to I was not an attendee, but I helped with it, and that was the Summer Breeze and Bumblebees, and this was from Liberty Hill, and this is what their goodie bag came in. Well, one of the attendees, Kathy Kurtz, made project bags for her table, and then she also made project bags for the people that work at the shop. That was so generous, Kathy, and she always gives us something very sweet, and it's lined with a beautiful yellow. So Kathy gave us that. Then my other friend, Cindy Hawkins, made me this cute little bee skep with a pin. Cindy came down from Winchester, Virginia. I used to live in Winchester, Virginia, and there's a whole group of ladies that are just so dear to me that come from Winchester pretty much every time there's a stitch in. They just love it. And it's always good to have time to chit-chat with them. This time I was so busy that I didn't really have the time that I would have liked to chit-chat with them. But Cindy was so sweet to gift me this little bee skep that she made with the little bee pin. She's another talented one. And you know what? You never know when you're going to meet a stitcher, because I met Cindy years and years ago. I went to urgent care, and Cindy was a nurse at urgent care, and we started talking stitching. I was getting ready to go to a Shepherd's Bush retreat and wanted something checked out. And Cindy was my nurse there. And I said, I have to be better because I'm going to a retreat. And we started chit-chatting, found out we were each stitchers. And that's all that happened. And I brought her back a little goodie bag of things from the Shepherd's Bush retreat, which was fun. So that was from her. And then I have another thing in here. Oh, this was from another friend, Chris Longmore, and she said she just made these, that they were so easy. Look at this. This is a little fob, patriotic fob that she made. She hand crocheted this lace around the outside and made this little fob, and she gave these as table gifts to her table. That really stepped it up a notch. And then she gifted the Liberty Hill workers with that. That is always so sweet and so generous that people think of us too. It's just really super nice. And then my friend Stacy gave out these little bee threaders, needle threaders. But let me show you. Oh, and then Lori and Deb gave a little pad and pen with a little bit of honey. People get so creative with what they do for their stitchy friends. But let me show you what was in the goodie bag. This is what I'm talking about the goodie bags from Liberty Hill. So the retreat's from 10 to 4, and then from 4 to 6, there's shopping at the store. That it's just like extended hours shopping at the store for the retreat attendees. And they always get a $10 voucher at the retreat. So that brings your $125 fee really down to $115. But look at this bee-themed goodie bag that we got. Here's a little pin cushion with bee pins. Now, Susan, the shop owner, did the little bee pins. She said she purchased the pin cushions, but isn't that the sweetest? And then we got a custom ruler from Liberty Hill Needleworks with a bee on it. Then a pair of scissors with a little bee fob, and they came in a little muslin bag with bees on it, stamped by yours truly. Tough day at work, doing arts and crafts, stamping the little bags. So that was in that. Then there was another little bee case with needles and a threader in it. And then this cute little flower needle minder. Now there's a real flower pressed in there. So that's kind of cool. So these are all fun retreat days. It's a great way to treat yourself. You deserve it. You deserve a day out with friends. You deserve having fun with your stitchy buds. And it's worth checking out. All right, I have a little bit more to show you. I have some stitchy kindness. And here we go. I received this box, fresh strawberries from my friend Stacy. And it's adorable. And she gave this to me at the retreat. But she had no idea I was making these. And don't those strawberries look so cute in there? And I think I'm going to put some of my other berries in here as well. So I think she said she got these at Target in the dollar spot. I'm not sure if they still have them. They changed that out. I never seem to be able to hit that for getting all the special goodies from there. It just doesn't seem like I'm there quick enough. But I love that, Stacy. Thank you so much. This is a little patriotic wooden acorn pin and star pins that my friend Kim Hollifield sent me. Kim lives in Texas and she's a sweet friend, and we actually met at a retreat at Hobby House a few years ago and have stayed in touch. And Kim stayed with me last fall when she was in Williamsburg for a retreat, and it was great. And she said she orders these from M&H Handcrafts, Michael and Kimberly Helmke. I will put this information in my show notes as well, but I'll hold this here that you can just take a screenshot if you want. But I need to check out their website because they do make things for stitchers. So that was some more stitchy kindness. And then I had another stitchy kindness. My friend Paulette Stewart, Plumstreet Samplers, sent me not one, but 2 of her America 250 charts. Why did she send me 2? Because one is to share with you. So this chart of hers was an instant hit. It was initially sold through the Attic in Mesa, Arizona, and they were bombarded with orders for charts and kits and threads and what have you, to the point that it was overwhelming. So anyway, I had contacted Paulette, and I've known Paulette for a long time. I've known her since she was naming her company. So we go way back. I met her through Kathy Barrick, and we go way back. So anyway, Paulette, I was mentioning to her, you know, did I miss out on this chart altogether because I didn't buy it from the Attic, and will it ever be released, or did I just miss out? So she said it would be released later on in the summer. So that time is now. Shops are starting to get this chart. But Paulette was so sweet to send me 2 charts, one for me and one to share with you. So that is another one of my giveaways today too. So thank you so much, Paulette, for your generosity. You are just the sweetest, and I'm so happy to share that with my viewers. So I've got a couple more things to show you. I know I've been on here forever. I do appreciate you staying with me. If it was too much, you can always stop the video and come back later. But I did want to show you a few things of haul. Oh, a few things of haul. Wait a second. This was a couple more things from the Liberty Hill Bee Stitch-In. A little notebook and pen and a little accessory case. I knew I had dropped something and couldn't find it at the moment. All right, so here we have a little bit of haul. This, I don't know if you have taken advantage of this, but this was from Hands Across the Sea. Honestly, I kind of feel bad showing it because I think she stopped producing it July 4th. But Nicola had designed this panel with different little pillows or pin cushions. I think there's 10 of them. There's 6. Yeah, 10 little pin cushions with backing that you can make as bowl fillers, sachets, even cut out the panel and put it on a stitching bag, project bag, or something like that. She had designed these as a tribute to America for our 250th, and she stopped selling them as of July 4th. But the other thing that I did get from her was panels to do the English paper piecing to make a pin cushion. So I got the red one, and I just dropped this one, the blue one. So I will just have to figure out how to do these, but this is for the English paper piecing. But I did order these from Nicola, from Hands Across the Sea. The other thing I wanted to mention about Nicola is this. I just heard on her floss tube the other day that this chart, the Rose and the Giant Pear, is going to be discontinued in book form. It'll still be available as a PDF, but she did say that she has so many charts now that she cannot feature them all in book form anymore, and some of them will be culled down to being available as a PDF. So if you are desiring this chart in book form, I would either get on her website and see if it's still available, or check out your local needlework shops to see if it's available there if you're looking for it in the book form. If you're fine with a PDF, just go ahead and download it as a PDF. So I would just keep in mind, that's my little public service announcement. I just have a few things of haul that I would like to show you. And then I will get on with my giveaways for this video. This, I think, is just adorable. This is from Miss Prim. This is some of my haul, and it's called Heavens to Betsy. And it makes a little, a little doll, kind of like the animal crackers, but this is from Miss Prim. She designs like a lot of patriotic things. She has one of Abe Lincoln that on it says, "Honestly, Abe." And she has another one, George Washington slept here. Another one of Martha's face that says, "Martha slept here." And then she has another of George and Martha, and it has the date of their wedding. And Martha is saying, "I do." But Miss Prim is really worthwhile checking out. Really cute designs. I can't wait to make that as like a little, I'm not doing it as a stand-up. I'm just doing it as a little pillow. The other little piece of haul I have is a new chart from the Scarlett House called America My Home. And I just kitted this up recently with all of the called for colors. And here they are. And I am going to stitch it on 36 count flax linen. And I just saw on Facebook that Tanya from Scarlett House is celebrating, I think, 15 years as a designer. Well, I am so glad that she has stuck with it as a designer because I truly love her designs, and I'm always on the lookout to see what's new from the Scarlett House. So I'm really thrilled to have that kitted up and ready to go. I have 2 more hauls. This one is from Faithworks Design. And I've never done anything from Faithworks Design, so this might be my something new for the cross-stitch camp for August. And this is really cute. I did buy this at Liberty Hill. Don't go storming the phone with that, because as far as I know, it's limited edition and we only have like a couple. Like when I say a couple, 2 or 3 of these kits left. I'm not sure if they can order any more, but this is really cute. I have not opened it yet, so I think I'll open it right now. Okay, you make this little vignette of spools with a little stitched piece on it and then little figures. So she gives you the spools. She gives you, so I just have to paint those. She gives you the fabric. I'm not sure if the floss, oh, the floss is in here too, super tiny. And then look at these cute little things, these little figures. Oh my gosh, that's adorable. Here's a little Uncle Sam. And so you stitch something that he's holding. And then this little firecracker will go on top of a spool. And then there's a little stitched band that goes on the spool. Let me show you this picture again. But again, it says limited edition. And I know Liberty Hill has just a couple left. I'm not sure, like I said, if she can order any more, but they're super cute. So I think these will be my something new. Try something new for my August cross-stitch camp. And again, it'll just enhance my patriotic stitching that I've been doing this year. So that's the one other little haul that I had. And then there's one more. This is a little knitting pouch, and it came with yarn in it, sock yarn. And this is from, oh, and a little stitch marker. The yarn is from Molly Klein Designs, this sock yarn, and the pouch was made by, oh, Molly Klein also. So these little knitting pouches, it's like, if you know, you know. They were made for Williamsburg for the 250th. This here, I mentioned the cheese shop earlier. This fabric has the cheese shop on it. That is so cute. And then it has other recognizable buildings from in and around Colonial Williamsburg. This is the courthouse here. This is the armory. There's, here's the Capitol building over here. So it's kind of cool. There's a knit shop in Williamsburg called Colorful Stitches. This is they have the most amazing window displays. Their window displays are always knit. Like in the springtime, they had a fully knitted bird feeder, bench, worms, flowers, little gardening trowel. It's amazing. I think there was a sundial. Amazing. They had, and then after that, they had a wedding scene where it was kind of like where the bride would be getting dressed. They had that, and there was a knitted wedding dress. There was flowers. There was like jewelry all on a table. Everything is knit in their windows. It's really incredible. So for 4th of July, are you ready for this? They had a knitted Thomas Jefferson. Everything was knit on him. He was put onto, his clothes were put onto a mannequin, but his hair was knit. His clothes, his shoes were knit, his socks. He was sitting on a chair, and then they had a huge knitted Declaration of Independence, and then like a little writing desk with an inkwell, a quill pen. It was amazing. So this is called Colorful Stitches in Williamsburg, in that Merchant Square area that I talked about where the cheese shop is. I'm telling you all, if you have not been to Colonial Williamsburg, you need to pay a visit. It's lovely in the fall. If you want to make a trip in the fall, they have illumination for 3 weekends in a row at Christmas time. It's great. It's great. And there's a lot to see and do. And of course, you can go to Liberty Hill then also. But so it was really fun. So when they advertised that they were doing some knitting bags and sock sets for our country's independence, I just had to go in and get one. And they had probably 4 or 5 different styles of bag, and then they each had a coordinating sock yarn that goes in it. But I just had to get this one with the cheese shop on it because it's just one of those things in the area. If you know, you know. All right, folks, this takes me to the end of my video. I will talk to you about my giveaways. Just let me reach them because they're all over here on the side. But I have some giveaways here to share with you for our Star Spangled celebration. Okay. So this is the way the giveaways work. Again, never say prize, raffle, drawing. What you need to do is like and subscribe to my channel. You must be 18 years old or over because I do need to request your address, your mailing address from you. But please do not put any of those other words. It just draws people that have no business trying to claim prizes. So each prize will have a keyword that you need to mention in a comment. You can just use it cleverly in a sentence, which I always get a real kick out of people doing that. Or you can just put down the words. Now you can enter to win any prize you want, any one or all of them if you would like. Okay, so here we go. As I mentioned before, my friend Trish Harriman has donated not 1, but 2 of her strawberry kits to make that little strawberry basket of berries. It includes everything except the thread, which that's just easy, thread and glue, but you only need a little bit of glue to put the stems in. So Trish very generously donated 2 kits to make her berries. So there's gonna be 2 winners for this. So the key word, if you would like to win the strawberry box kits, would be berry. They are so much fun to do. I cannot emphasize enough how great her directions are and how easy it is for them to go together. All right, so that's for the one thing. The next one is a gift that I have supplied, and this is for a Huzzah needle minder. So if you would like to stitch along with me with your Huzzah needle minder and a little teak wood needle case with, there will be needles in it, with a few needles in it, use the word Huzzah in your comment if you would like to use to win this Huzzah needle minder. Okay, the other thing is something extremely generous from my friend Rebecca Brigham of My Recycled Relatives. Like I showed you her pins earlier. I will re-show you. They're kind of all over my table here now. These are 2 of her pins. They come in a set. She does fobs. She did the beach pins that I had also. This came as a set. Anyway, Rebecca has very generously donated once again something from her Etsy shop. So for this, you will just use the word recycle. And so the winner of this, when you claim this and let me know that you heard your name called, I will figure out with you, I will give you Rebecca's information to contact her, and then she will tell you how to proceed to claim your prize from her Etsy shop. So you're not winning what I have here. If that's available at her Etsy shop, that might be something you select, but Rebecca will be sending something to you and not me. But use the word recycle if you would like to win that. Okay, so the other prize was very generously donated from Paulette Stewart of Plumstreet Samplers, and here is the very much sought after America 250 chart. So if you would like to win this, use the word plum in your comments. So I will send this out to you. I'm starting to see finishes of this online, and people have come into the shop with it, and it is absolutely stunning, stitched up, and quite a treasure to have, and a legacy to your family from our America 250 celebration. So if you would like to win this chart from Plumstreet Samplers, put down the word plum. Then the last one I have is actually something that I have offered before, and I have shouted out this person twice, and they have not gotten back to me yet. So I will offer it to somebody else. And this is the full kit for early workings for Martha Tucker. This is offered through Tina Waltman of Early Workings. It's exclusive to Liberty Hill Needleworks. So not only are you getting the chart, you are getting, isn't this the cutest bag? You're getting the DMC and overdyed threads that go with the kit. And then originally Susan just offered it like that, but in our video that we did together, she said you would get the linen too. So you're also getting a fat quarter of 36 count vintage country mocha with that as well. So I am re-offering this to someone else because for 2 months now I have offered it to the original winner and I did not hear from them. So I'm re-offering it to all of you viewers this time. So if you would like to receive that gift, use the word early in your comments. Okay, so once again, if you would like to win the strawberries, put berry. If you would like to win the Huzzah needle minder and needle case, use the word Huzzah. If you would like to win something from My Recycled Relatives, use the word recycle. If you are after the Plumstreet America 250 chart that was such a hit with the Attic and now is being released to the general public and to the other shops, use the word plum. And if you are interested in the Martha Tucker complete kit, use the word early. Okay, friends, it brings me such joy to be here with you. I just love my time we spend together. I know it's been kind of lengthy today. I apologize for how the color, at least from what I see, the color keeps getting darker and lighter on my video. I really have no idea why it's doing it, but I did not want to delay any longer in making a video and restarting. So it is what it is. Sometimes there's sunshine, sometimes there's shadows, and it looks like we had both of them in this video. So until we meet again, may you find calm, joy, and relaxation in your stitches. Love you, my friends. Happy stitches to all of you, and happy 250th birthday to our wonderful nation. Love you. Bye.